What's up, guys? Ryan here, doing another Think, Learn, and Be Vulnerable vlog. And fuck it, we're going to talk about it. Transphobia. What the hell? Um, I'm still learning about it, so I ain't an expert in any case. But there seems to be a lot of questions coming up over trans people, trans spaces. What the hell should we do about it? And I would say this: if you're not trans, don't fucking worry about it. like, just be cool. If someone's trans and you meet them, here's what you do. Oh, cool. What pronouns would you like me to use? Done. That's it. It's simple. Fucking easy. It's not hard. Right? Just treat them like normal human beings. Treat them as you would anybody who was not that. Right? Like if you met somebody and you weren't sure if they're a man or a woman, and you asked them and they're like, oh, I'm a dude. Use he, him pronouns. Okay, fine. It's really no big deal. It's no skin off my back. What do I care? You know, it's, I've talked about this before where it's just like, Asian people having to change their names into something more Americanized. And it's like, that's not your name. Like, I will call you by your name. Tell me what it is. It may take me a few tries if I'm unfamiliar with it, but I'll get it eventually. It's normal, basic human decency. And we need to extend that to our trans brothers and sisters, because it's all they really want. Just be accepted and treated as normal, because they are. Now, some other questions that have come up that I've seen uh, is it transphobic if you don't want to date a trans person? I don't know. I think I'd probably prefer it if I was dating somebody who wasn't trans. And pre-op or post-op, that's certainly a concern. As a cisgender, hetero male, I do like women. So if I was dating a woman and she had a penis, yeah, it would affect my attraction to her. Certainly. Not saying I'd completely rule it out, but I think it would make it a little harder. I'd probably be a little less attracted. So I can only speak for myself. I can only speak for my own feelings here. Post-op, maybe I wouldn't even notice. It's entirely possible. I may never know. And if we're in a relationship and a couple of months in and I'm like already in love and she's like, guess what? I used to be a dude. I don't know how I'd react. I'd probably freak out a little bit. But, if we had a really great relationship and I was in love, I think I could probably get over it. I can't say for sure it's never happened, but maybe it's happened and I just don't know about it. It's entirely possible. I mean, I've, I've been around. I may have been with a trans woman and didn't know it. So technology has caught up a lot. Some of the surgeries I've seen, some of the pictures I've seen, I'm like, no fucking way. That dude used to be a woman, and that woman used to be a dude. Like, no way! Wow. And so it just goes to show how sexuality, gender, orientation, like they're so fluid. They just go anywhere, man. I mean, I have a preference, but I'm not going to sit here and say that couldn't happen. Like, I can't honestly say that I would never fall in love with a trans woman. I mean, it may have already happened. Like I said, it may have already happened. I don't fucking know. To be honest, it's not something I necessarily ask about. And the thing is, a lot of trans people have a lot of fear of putting it out there. Like the whole idea of trying to pass and trying to just come off as a woman or come off as a man, like, is really important. especially when your whole life you feel like your identity and your body has never rarely represented what your soul feels, what your internally your heart feels. That can be really difficult. I've always felt like I'm a dude. I've always felt very dudeish, but I'm lucky in that sense that even though I've questioned it at times, the exploration that I've done simply confirmed the way I was originally feeling. But I'm lucky in that sense. What if you begin your exploration and it turns out you start to really like things that are of the other gender, that are of the other sex? Oh no. That's tough to deal with. And of course, it's going to come along with a lot of derision and a lot of, especially if it's young, if you're young, there's a lot of kids that are fucking vicious out there. There's a lot of adults that are fucking vicious out there. And it can be really hard to deal with and come to terms with that you are not the way that you have been presenting this whole time. Wow. Like, put yourself in those shoes. It's hard enough to have to grapple with these questions, to then figure out the answer, and to then take the next step to say, I am going to get surgeries and make this change so that way I can fit outside the way that I feel inside. Because that shit's expensive, for one thing, and two, potentially scarring. Right? What if the surgery fucks up? What if it doesn't do enough? What if you always kind of look like a dude? What if you always kind of look like a woman? Right? Like, these are all real risks that trans people take. Let alone the potential ostracizing, from society, or at least from the society that you know. What if you grew up in a strict religious household? No fucking way they're going to be down with that. So, given all these struggles, and this is nowhere near a comprehensive list of struggles, it's really hard to be a trans person. It's getting easier, but it's still very, very difficult. Why in the world would we add transphobia to that? Why in the world would we make these people feel even worse about the incredibly difficult decisions that they have to make? Leave these people alone. Let them live their lives. This is the way they want to be. Let them be it. Who the fuck are you to say how these people should live? And who the fuck are you to not show them simple, basic human decency? You want to be called Tim? Fine. Your name's Tim. You want me to call you he, him, her? Fine. Done. You want to be Katrina? Cool, you're Katrina. You want to be she, she, her? All good. You want to be non-binary? Be they, them? Fine. Fuck do I care? Oh no, it's one word. People might be a little weird because I'm like, oh yeah, they're right over there. Like, what? What do you mean they? Is there more than one of them? No, that's just, those are their pronouns. They don't want to adhere to a gender stereotype. Fine. No big deal. These transphobic people act like they have to do and change their entire fucking worlds. No, you don't. It's not that hard. Right? Just be nice to people. If this is what they want, okay, cool. No big deal. I mean, I used to work in a casino, and there was like 2 or 3, like, very clearly in the middle of their transition, people that would play poker. You know what? They won and lost their money just like everybody else. They talked to people just like everybody else. They ate just like everybody else. They dressed a little bit better than everybody else. Aside from that, they're the same. We can all get along. Like, inclusiveness is huge in this vlog. And the reason is because we can do it. And it's a lot easier than we think it is. So, think, learn to be vulnerable. Well, we need to think about our preconceived notions. We need to think, have we been raised and have we seen trans people portrayed in ways that aren't, like, beneficial to them? Is the media shaping the way that I look at things? Is questions that I come up with that I'm not getting answers to, are they shaping the way I view the people that I have the questions about? Learn. Well, we need to learn to analyze our own prejudices and learn to analyze ourselves and learn to look at people that look different than us and say that's okay too. And in terms of being vulnerable, we need to ask ourselves those questions. Am I really a man? Am I really a woman? Am I something else? Am I something indeterminate? And we need to be vulnerable with ourselves and realize that I could be a man who wants to be a woman who likes women, so then I'd be a trans lesbian. Okay. That's okay. But making those tough choices and respecting those tough choices in others, that's how we need to be. That's the vulnerability we need to be. Instead of saying, no, this is the way the world is and this is the way the world needs to stay, we need to be able to look at ourselves and say, okay, the world is changing and it is changing rapidly. And I need to get on board. And I need to get on board and I need to be kind to people. Because if I'm not, society will leave me behind. The world will leave me behind. And then you get to hold on to this very tiny, very narrow view of the world instead of enjoying all the wonderful things that the world out there gives you. And trans people are absolutely a part of that. Don't shut their voices out. Do not shut the wonderful world of different people and differing opinions out because you want to hold on to a small, tiny world view. Don't be a big fish in a small pond. Be a fish in an ocean of amazing things. All right, guys. I'll see y'all later.